There is one simple habit that my entire language learning is built around. It's so simple that once you understand it, you'll realize that you can build your whole study routine on this one thing. It's backed by science, it only takes 30 minutes a day, and I've been using it for years because it simply works. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that even after your first study session, you'll see the difference. You'll remember at least one expression, and you'll feel confident enough to use it in your next conversation. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how to use this habit step by step. Alright, so I call it the learn and use habit, and it's built on comprehensible input and active recall. I talk about the comprehensible input theory a lot on my YouTube channel because this is what I use in my language learning. If you're new here and if you don't know what it is, basically it's when you read or listen to content that you can mostly understand. It's comprehensible for you, you can understand it, but you're still learning something new. Like there's still some words that you don't know, but obviously they don't make up the majority. And so with this habit, we use comprehensible input and we combine it with active learning. And personally, I find active learning really useful when it comes to internalizing new vocabulary. Basically, this habit bridges the gap between input and output. And this helps you understand the language and also use it naturally. Okay, so now let's actually talk about this habit. Let's break it down and start with the first step. Step 1, choose your input. You're going to start by choosing something that you really like a YouTube video by a creator that you admire, or maybe a chapter from the book you're currently reading or an article. The key here is interest and comprehensibility. The material should be just slightly challenging. It shouldn't be so hard that you can't even follow the main ideas. No, that means it's way too hard and you have to choose something easier. Obviously, I'm gonna give you guys an example and I'm gonna use a short form summary of Atomic Habits by James Clear. I have been using short form for a very long time and I'm really happy that today they're sponsoring this video. Short form doesn't just summarize books, they also analyze them. They have one-page summaries, chapter breakdowns, and even exercises after each section to help you apply what you read. The summaries and audio versions make it super easy to revisit what you've just learned on a walk, at the gym, or maybe while doing your morning routine. And what makes it even better is that short form goes beyond book guides. They also offer master guides that compile ideas from multiple books on one topic, article guides and podcast guides so you can learn from new ideas beyond just books. And their browser extension can summarize anything on the internet, articles, emails, and even YouTube videos. It's perfect for books like The Gifts of Imperfection, Atomic Habits, The Mountain is You, because you get to go deeper into the key ideas about self-love, perfectionism, and habit building. So if you want to give it a try too, I have a very special offer for my audience. You can get a free trial plus 3 months off the annual plan if you sign up using the link in my description. So step number 2 is going to be collect vocabulary. While watching the video or reading the chapter, you're going to write down all the new expressions, the words you don't know, the grammar patterns that look unfamiliar. And obviously, if you're following the comprehensible input method, you're not gonna have a list of like 50 new words, 50 new expressions. You're probably gonna have like a few new words, which is absolutely great. Here, the simplicity is key. We don't need a super long list of random words. After collecting all of these words, you can talk to AI. You can ask AI to explain what all of these expressions mean. Ask it to give you example sentences. Make it help you understand subtle nuances of how all of these words are used. This makes your vocabulary list richer and more context aware. Instead of staring at a bunch of words that you have to memorize, you're actually having a conversation with AI. It's no longer a random collection of words. It's already more connected to you. I want to show you guys how I would personally do it. So let's choose the expression prevailing wisdom and have a conversation with ChatGPT. Hi, so I'm trying to learn this new word in English, this new expression, prevailing wisdom. Can you explain what it means? Can you give me example sentences of how a native speaker would use it? And also help me understand like the nuances of this expression, where I can use it. Should I even learn it? Is it a useful expression?
It's actually a pretty handy phrase to know. It basically means the generally accepted belief or the common view on a particular topic.
You can do the same thing and have a conversation with ChatGPT or just, type in your questions and then see the responses. Okay, so now let's talk about the final step number 3. Reflect and reuse. So you have your AI explanations, all of the examples, you understand what all of these expressions mean. Now it's time to reflect. It's time to actually practice active recall. And what it means is you're trying to use these words in your text or in your speech. And we're going to make it super low pressure by journaling or again having a conversation with your AI. The idea behind it is that I really want you to move from just understanding all of these words to actually using them yourself. In psychology, there is this super interesting theory called the generation effect. Simply put, what it means is that you remember information when you create it yourself, instead of just reading it, looking at it, or repeating it. In other words, when your brain has to generate something, this expression becomes active instead of just staying passive in your memory. And this act of retrieving and creating something makes you memorize all of this information way faster. So let's say you sit down to practice journaling. You're going to try to use this new word, this new expression while journaling about something. And this way you're going to be practicing active recall. You're going to be thinking, okay, I have to use this word, I have to use this expression. How can I use it? Like, does it feel natural when I personally use it? But let's say you decide to talk to ChatGPT and use the new expression you're trying to memorize. So can you ask me a question where I could practice active recall and I am going to use this phrase myself?
Can you tell me about a piece of prevailing wisdom in the self-improvement world that you personally disagree with?
The prevailing wisdom that I used to believe in the productivity world is that if I don't have any hobbies, if my only hobby is my work, that somehow makes me cool. And that somehow automatically makes me successful. But right now, I understand that, taking breaks, resting, doing something else is actually really important. I really hope you can see how just now I actually made myself use this expression. Obviously, AI gave me a lot of amazing examples, but I really wanted to practice active recall. I really wanted AI to ask me questions to make me use this expression myself. And it's so easy to do right now. You can journal and respond to a few questions, or if you want to, you can also practice speaking. So I've been using this 3-step habit very consistently, and I think it does work because it makes you focus on absorbing the language first and then producing it second. So you're always going through this loop. You find something that you really like that's comprehensible enough for you, you're absorbing the language, and then you're practicing active recall. You're trying to understand like the nuances of all of these expressions, how you can personally use it while journaling or while speaking to people. And to be honest, every time I sit down to practice my languages, that is what I do. Like, I don't really add more things. Sometimes if I feel like I have more time or if I want to do something else, obviously that's completely normal, but most of the time that's what I do. do. I read something, I listen to something, I watch something, and then I talk to AI or I journal and I use all of these new expressions. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. The habit that I shared with you today has been really helpful when it comes to memorizing new vocabulary, like working with my memory, not against it. And if you want to go deeper and see what vocabulary method I really like using, I highly recommend watching this video right here. Here I talk about memorization, Anki, and all of the tools that work really great for me. So if you want to learn more, just click right here and I'll see you there.